What are we covering? We are covering geoglyphs, and these right here I have the Ferrum Foundation, Arthur Ferrum, the archaeologist and discoverer or rediscoverer of geoglyphs and geoglyphology. And I guess we should start with what is geoglyphology, if I can read this. During the Foundation's research, it was discovered that ancient civilizations have passed down a secret science, which we have named geoglyphology. And is it a science? I guess science, technology / mapping. There exists a legacy of geoglyphs, geo meaning earth and glyph meaning writing, on the shores and highlands of land masses around the world. A well-known example of geoglyphic survey marker is Stonehenge in England. Stonehenge has been known for centuries, as have earlier monoliths, for the many astrological alignments that were designed into their construction. This phenomenon of astrological alignment is present in most megalithic and geoglyphic structures around the world and has recently been accepted as a legitimate science, having been named archaeoastrology. Until now, geoglyphic attributes of these structures and geoglyphs have been overlooked and known only to a few people in secret societies, as well as to myself from discovering it from this website and Arthur Ferrum when originally over a decade ago, finding his pictures of the medicine hat Badland Guardians, this face, this face, this face, this face, and that we've since discovered. So here we go. Main character, Aztec chieftain. He says, I think it looks more like the indigenous plains natives, warriors of the local population, as opposed to an Aztec on this one. But this is Arthur Ferrum's interpretation of what he sees there. And then he sees this Olmec face on the top right corner here in conjunction. And for those unaware, the center here, that's an oil rig and an access road going up to the oil rig that is on the hilltop of this geoglyph site. Now, going back to what geoglyphs are, here's some examples of what Arthur Ferrum has found around the world, and lots of the different geoglyph sites that Arthur Ferrum has discovered are from him deciphering original geoglyph sites that he found, taking those geoglyphs, applying this science of geoglyphology, and then tracking it out on the map, and then boom, sure enough, right where these angles and directions tell them to go, you find the other major landmarks, waterways, islands, ancient cities, ancient pyramids, as well as bastion forts, aka star forts, and out in the ocean, different megalithic wall structures. Here we have ancient underwater geoglyphs in Fongbin, China. He dates it circa 8000 BC. Oh, sorry, that's this one. And then this one is Gulf de Sintra, west coast of Africa. And they go exactly to Cairo, Egypt, Nabta Egypt, the Canary Islands, Iceland, Newport, Rhode Island, Trinidad. And I guess there's a correction code on certain ones, certain geoglyphs. And here you can see there's more. He just doesn't have it deciphered in this picture down there. This is underwater. Spherical geometry. There are no parallel lines. Just concept. But, oops. Where is it? Here we go. This was what I was going for. Samples of geoglyphs. Symbols, the directions, a line, two circles, pointing line, right? You see the larger than the smaller. This is structures, megaliths, henges, castle spires, monoliths, all sorts, cathedrals, right? You got the larger, then you got the smaller. It's built into it all. Curved lines, squares, square with cross. Where do we know that from? An array, two mounds. Big part is he's discovered that it's built into all the different mounds, and I guess, oops, wrong button. That's okay. Greetings, Kim B, Jessica Will, Zaya Bonanza, His Highness, Only Truce. Hopefully not missing anyone. Okay, let's continue on. So, what did I find? Or first, what did we find online? And when looking into, so first we're just starting with this main indigenous warrior face, as well as what appears to be another face above, the Olmec, and another face right here, and possibly actually another face right here. And then when you look at it, there's also another face here, and what looks like another indigenous chieftain sort of here. And it's that it's these totem style, and that all throughout Western Canada, the Western Americas, the native artwork is totem poles, where you have the different warrior faces, masks, and animal incorporation. And here it seems like different faces from round. But what we're finding is that how many coincidences of pareidolia or supposed claim pareidolia are they going to say, especially for the main ones, and that it doesn't matter what season or what angle, because you can see here that each of these images are being taken from different angles, most likely different satellite or photographic, whatever is imaging it, but it's that it's different positions, both longitudinal and latitudinal, different times of days and different times of seasons, and that no matter what picture, what angle, whenever it's taken, whether it's in spring, summer in green, or fall and autumn, or winter and snow, you're getting these same defined faces and features no matter what in every single one. And that is what this is. This is indigenous totem artwork of the ancients. And then here we have on the opposite side of the valley, what we have, the Easter Island long-nosed, big-headed, four-headed birdman feature, right? Pointing west. You got the mouth here, you got the giant nose, the eyes, and the elongated skull. And then over here, we have what looks like another moai, or possible Easter Island style, but Polynesian, Micronesian style face, and then another face mask up here, continuing up the different geoglyphs. That these are satellite images or airplane images at the least, whatever it is, but you have these totem faces of the different indigenous artwork or masks and carvings of monoliths of all the different Olmec, Aztec, Mayan, supposed megalithic indigenous populations around the world, and that these are geoglyphs, just like Nazca, Peru. And in fact, this geoglyph, one of the sites here, the different line geoglyphs, sorry, wrong picture, wrong, my apologies. We need to get back to Arthur Farham's work on showing these ancient geoglyph sites, and that he found these faces when he deciphered other geoglyph sites around the world that all pointed or directed him to this site. And that just like the geoglyphs in California, just like the geoglyphs in Peru, just like the geoglyphs in Florida, just like the geoglyphs in Iowa and I believe Minnesota, they're everywhere. British Columbia, California, Oregon, Washington State, they're everywhere, but they're from above. And then here, these numbered sites of Arthur Farham on the Valley of the Giant Faces, right? But very similar, and that it gives credence to to Cydonia on Mars, of the pyramids and the face of Mars of Cydonia, because that's also potentially a geoglyph site. And that here we'll show. So sorry, before I show the pyramid section of the geoglyphology deciphering of Arthur Farham, I'm going to continue and show these numbered sites first at the Valley of the Giant Warriors. And here we go. So the different numbered sites, there's these lined earthworks, and that these are the like terraformed megalithic earthenwork angles and lines of the geoglyphs that are accompanied to the massive faces and totem masks at the Medicine Hat Badlands Guardians geoglyph site. And these lines here, these geoglyph radials that he found and then plotted out, sure enough, come up to other main ancient landmarks and features and pyramids and southern tip of Grand Canyon, Baja California, Matlacuta volcano, Mexico City, so Teotihuacan, I believe that is, southern tip of Cape Cod, Fareham Town or mainland Canada, western tip of Ireland, and Hawaiian Islands. A geoglyph going to Hawaiian Islands from the faces in the Medicine Hat Badlands Guardians. And Grand Canyon, another very suspect site. So Arthur Farham found this tower here in Matland, Canada, and it literally had no real history, and that he then deciphered it and named it after himself, and that there's a whole bunch of other geoglyphs built into this tower here. But back to the Alberta Medicine Hat Badland geoglyphs here, the geoglyph site 3, and off of these features, he measures it, maps it out, and Cairo, Egypt, southern tip of Britannia, France. Britannia, France, also giant megalithic site with all the different monoliths and astroarchaeology and geoglyphs and geoglyphology. And Arthur Farham also on his site, I can show where he deciphers and maps out the geoglyphs of Britannia, France. Anyways, it just goes on and on and on. Like Mexico City, again, Beaufort Sea, west entrance, tip of Cape Romania, South Carolina, tip of Ireland again, geoglyph 4 site. So there's all these geoglyphs literally built off of the angles and into the site, and that I am going back here this summer, or late June, early July. We will be at the Medicine Hat Badlands site for the summer solstice, the June 22nd time frame. We will be close by at Writing on Stone UNESCO site, just southwest of this site here, still in southern Alberta. And yeah, if you don't know about that site, definitely look into my videos on it. All right, back to the fourth radial of the geoglyphs of Medicine Hat Badlands Guardians here. Junction of Ottawa River and St. Lawrence Seaway, southern tip of Cornwall, northern tip of Greenland, southern Canary Island, entrance to the river at Portsmouth, New Hampshire, USA, is that correct? Southern end of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, US, Chaco Canyon. So Chaco Canyon, famous site in the US with geoglyphs and plenty of, what are the other glyphs? It will come to me. But Writing on Stone, also very famous, well-known, documented for very ancient petroglyphs. There we go. Petroglyphs is the ancient language symbol of like cave drawings, but it's a symbol or pictographic language, pretty much pre-cataclysm, I believe. That's a story for another day. We're talking about geoglyphology and the geoglyphs and Geoglyph 5 site. This is the access road going up to. So this original guy here, the Indigenous warrior base, the main guardian, he himself was trending many years ago, quote unquote. It was dubbed the Indian with the iPod, and like just such racist, stereotypical, and hijacked by Apple savages. And then simultaneously, what another insult, but also very intriguing. Oil found literally where this guy's ear would be underneath these faces, and they're pumping oil out literally from beneath these ancient giant geoglyph faces. And that this is the huge deciphering of Arthur Ferrum of the different geoglyphs from Medicine Hat, and that when you plot them all out on a world map, this is the territory of the geoglyphs that are included of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. And why that matters, because as there's more, there's so much more. And I recommend everyone, if you're interested in this, do your own research. Check out the Arthur Ferrum Foundation .com here. And so Bosnian pyramid geoglyphs, also the Yanaguny pyramid underwater geoglyphs, another site that he deciphered. So the Bosnian pyramids, he dates them himself. This has nothing to do with Samir Osmanovich's work. It's just completely parallel that Arthur Ferrum came up with very similar dates and ages as Samir's own results and testing, and that Arthur Ferrum was able to date everything from when specific sites are included in other world geoglyph sites. So like at the when 20,000, 30,000 years ago, when he dates all of these massive mountain pyramid megastructures being built, they were all incorporating each other into their own geoglyphs being built into them, and that they're literally built into the specific sides and angles and measurements, lengths of the actual pyramid sides and faces, and that they plot out. You got Tunis, Tunisia, Luxor, Egypt, and Lewis Island. I guess is that northern Scotland? I believe so. Built into literally the radials of the Pyramid of the Sun, and dates that one 32,000 BC. Oh, stage 1 and stage 2, so different parts of when it was built and when they appear in different periods. And he says that there's this crater north of South America, right in Central America, gone down, and that there's some missing geoglyph points that go here, I guess, that made him aware of this. And then when you get, after adding the 4 cardinal points onto the geoglyphs from it, it gives you 4 more specific sites. Cape Town, South Africa, Bay of Nazarenes, and southern border of Russia, even to this day, built into. So it's like Russia and Ukraine, and also like Crimea, that was once called Little Tartaria, and the Tartar people still make up a major population of the ethnic Crimeans to this day, and that like the border of southern Russia built into the corner of the one of the cardinal points of the Pyramid of the Sun, which he dates to being 32,000 years. Like, it's like these same borders and territories have apparently existed for tens of thousands of years and been encoded as an ancient, lost, high advanced science of our ancient peoples, as well as, you'll be surprised how recent it's still been used in architecture and buildings, probably still to this day, but examples of just 100 or a couple hundred years ago. So going through the other 2 pyramids of Bosnian Pyramid site, damaged by landslide, he says, this one angle, and adds even more. Old Moscow, from one of either the Pyramid of the Moon or of the Earth, or maybe he renamed it Dragon, I'm not sure. Anyways, radials, territory, and important points defined by the 3 Bosnian Pyramid radials circa 9,500 years ago, or 12, aka 12,000 years ago, aka the time of Plato's fall of Atlantis and the Younger Dryad catastrophe event. Very interesting that Arthur Ferrum also gets these dates. And then when you also get the 3 alignment trigonometry triangle of the 3 Bosnian pyramids, you get more resulting radials that he then maps out to more additional sites. And it's just wild. And then here we go, the Moscow street geoglyphology. So these old cities, so pretty much any ancient city, and that this is like the Star Fort or Star Citadel city, bastion style cities of, just the 16, 17, 1800s almost, I guess they ended, and all over the world. But they also, what's the whole central point in all of these crazy roads? Well, they're radials also. And that Arthur Ferrum applying his geoglyphology to Old Moscow, the radials literally plot out to the modern day territorial border of Russia. Just wild. Oh, wait, there's more. Then there's the quote unquote forts, the bastion forts that were built on top of the pyramids of the Bosnian pyramids more recently, just 100 or 200 years ago, and they have updated geoglyphs and territories and plots. So this one's on the Pyramid of the Moon as well. So this one, the radial central point, plotting out geoglyphs on top of the Pyramid of the Sun, Pyramid of the Moon. And look at that. Plots out to modern day European Union. Oh, and they're trying to include Ukraine and Crimea. Wow. And this site, a border marking, Russia-European border marking, both included in the old original pyramid angles as well as the updated radial pyramid. Pretty wild stuff. And the second one, and then there's just so much more. There's the Indonesian pyramids. And I'm bringing this one up right now just to highlight, look at all of those insane terraces in these mountain pyramids here. And that this is a pyramid geoglyph site of Indonesia. There's a whole bunch of them. Another one. He plots them all out the same way. They do the same things. Now he's showing the Giza pyramids, their plots. It's wild. But back to the Indonesian one. Why we're looking at it and the relevance that it has to do with Alberta, southern Alberta, the Valley of the Giant Warriors. And this is a picture I myself took, or maybe my mom's. Shout out to my mom's. It was either me or mom's. It depends. If I'm in the picture, it was my mom. If I'm not, it was me. We shall continue, and you shall see terrace after terrace after terrace. And here, this right here is an actual animal trail and path. And then you can see a diverging one going up the other angle side. But throughout, you have these parallel terraces making up from top to bottom. Shout out OG Skid Row Scotty interviews, my man. Good to see you. And you see these parallel lines making up the entire hills, the entire faces, the faces of the faces completely covered in parallel terraces. And this is a parallel hill face to the last one that you just saw. Also, parallel terraces from top to bottom, I've discovered and documented, that make up the foundation of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardian geoglyphs, and that you can see every single hill face from top to bottom constructed with these parallel terrace features. Ancient, extremely ancient. I talked to the owner. So shout out to my mom. She took this picture. Here's Bernie. Middle of summer. It's really smoggy. This is forest fire smoke. It was the middle of the day, high noon, or maybe, probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon. You'll see the sun later. It'll be orange and pure red through the forest fire smoke. But here we go. Look at Bernie. Climb to the top there. Look at that, just for perspective of size of how big these faces are, and that every single area you have these symmetrical parallel terraces making up the foundation, and, well, the sides and the face of the faces of the giant geoglyph faces. And here I'm circling, there's a giant bald eagle circling. It was amazing experience. Right as I got to the top, a second one actually came up. I posted a video of it at the time on my channel somewhere. But the point being, maybe that was the deer. From top to bottom, parallel terraces throughout, and just absolutely massive. There we go. So not orange in that one. It's pretty high. In the sky, we're pretty far north. I guess, yeah, that'd be north, because it was middle of June or end of June. So right around the summer solstice that I was here last time, and there was massive forest fires at the time. Forest fire smoke, cloud in the sky. But I'm showing you throughout these crazy parallel constructed ancient terraces covering every single hill face that make up the faces of the Medicine Hat Badland geoglyphs. And what am I talking about? These guys, literally. This right here, sadly, there's a stupid Google markers blocking the actual guy's face, but that is the Aztec warrior or Mayan warrior, the dragon headdress, as Arthur Ferrum calls it. Back to the Ferrum Foundation here, and back to the Badland Guardian geoglyphs. So Arthur Ferrum also found this guy right here. He calls it the Mayan with feathered serpent headdress. And then on the opposite side of the road here, you have this elongated skull face, old man looking face there. Here Arthur's showing some of the Mayan headdress, and it's very similar to the headdresses of the warriors of the indigenous populations of this area as well, but definitely this looking more Aztec or Mayan. And that, sorry, this road right here is where my mom was taking those pictures from. Yes, shout out to my mom. It was an awesome trip, and hopefully my mom's will be coming back for round 2, but we will be going back here this summer to document it, and going in full with drones and all, and taking picture from the car and all the way up this massive hill that says do not trespass. So do not trespass. But for the sake of discovery, I did, and I didn't get shot, and I didn't start a fire, and I will be properly contacting the owner. I did speak to him by phone after trespassing, but we got in contact, and he said he had no idea what I was talking about these terraces, thought I was crazy, but said definitely it wasn't from his generational family's ranching or farming. And yeah, so, and this is going one way down the valley. So there's several different property owners of these different valleys here, or of this massive giant valley with the different faces, and that every single hill face in these valleys making up the faces is covered from top to bottom with these parallel symmetrical terraces. For a scale and reference, there's BurnEye. So you can see, I guess I'm like 6 feet. So each terrace is about 3 feet. So I guess about a meter or something. Just two BurnEye, or one BurnEye makes up two terraces. But yes, all right. So as we go through the terraces, this is what we're looking at. You're looking at these hills, this hill, and further down this hill. And I will be going back with shout out to Ron and Ron's brother, professional drone operators. And we will be getting some massive aerial footage and documenting all of these different faces. And is this like a lion face potentially, sphinx, or rodent, or yeah, actually that kind of looks almost Mayan or Mayan. And could that just be sunken in? Not sure, but they're super ancient, and they are part of the ancient geoglyphs and geoglyphology and the Valley of the Giant Faces. So here you go. You can see this guy right here, this almost like demon or devilish mask. The eyes, the big nose, the mouth, the big chin, beard. But then also, like here, you got the big eye, the brown nose, the big chin of like a Moai figure, and the Easter Island elongated head, big nosed birdman, and the lion sphinx like. Oops, wrong direction. Potential face there, I believe, or another one here. Not sure. But all throughout, or sorry, maybe this was some of the geoglyphs, the radials potentially I was looking at documenting. That I think there's, this face right here, like what looks like the old man or like the troll or dwarf. Some have other labeled it as that other picture, and then another picture also had this labeled as Xerxes, but potential bird face carved in here, a reptile potentially, but animal and faces, this valley of totem, giant totem faces and animal faces and masks. Like the probability of pareidolia of so many different faces, all within one valley of these Badlands. So here's that road there, and here's the elongated head, almost looking Asian or Egyptian, pharaoh-like actually. And there's the other warrior face right here, the eye, the nose, the mouth, and then like a crown or mask or something, and potentially another face right there. So more totems and faces all within this same area. And then what a coinky dink that when you go there on the ground and take pictures of all of these ancient faces, sure enough, they're covered from top to bottom with ancient constructed parallel symmetrical terraces. Terrace after terrace after terrace after parallel symmetrical terrace, carved, constructed into these massive ancient geoglyphs, advanced terraformed site. So how much evidence do we need that this is an ancient, massive, megalithic geoglyph? Mega macrosite. We are going to look at a few more. So here we go. This one clearly taken in early spring or late spring, early summer, when green and filled with vegetation. in these Badlands that are regularly quite desert and dry, and thus why. Oh, so here we go. So this picture, I did not label or name these. So there's the Skirxes I was talking about, troll wearing helmet that I was talking about a moment ago. Here for reference, this is the access road. Here he's labeled it alien head, the elongated guy, and then here he's labeled this guy regularly Arthur Ferrum, calling the Mayan feathered headdress guy this individual alien coming out of head. But to each their own, we all interpret it in our own ways, but we all see exactly what it is, and that it's a face with some sort of crown headdress action going on. And shout out to whoever made this original discovery, because they were the first to show where I found this long-nosed birdman right here that he's got, and then me discovering these two other faces on the opposite side of it. And here we go, a very clear image of the Mayan with the headdress, feathered serpent headdress. There's the Olmec head. We got some of Arthur Ferrum's geoglyphs. So these are these radials that I'm going to be going back to document and find these intersecting lines. And now that I'm putting 2 and 2 together and looking at this again, let's go back to some of those pictures that I took of the terraces and potentially, here we go. So like potentially these lines, could that be one of those radials going up? Potentially, and that would make sense, because that really, this area was so steep, I wasn't even like going up there, like you saw, or you will see. Oops. So here I'm like having to make my way up, like zigzagging, avoiding the very steep areas. But when I was looking at these different peaks and stuff, I was like astounded, like that doesn't, it's on the steepest part of the peak of this like massive foothill face height, and that's not an animal path. Like animals just aren't going pacing that little cliff face. No, that would make way more sense that that is part of one of those geoglyph radials. And here we might have another one. Oh no, that I believe is an animal. Or is it? Or is it a radial? I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and investigate. And that's the whole point of going back to investigate with some very high-end professional drone operators and drones to properly document, explore, record, and investigate this extremely mystic, ancient, full of yet to be discovered discoveries awaiting, that is the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. Oh, thank you, Jessica SS. So here's Arthur Ferrum's locations of these different geoglyphs. So he's only looked over this area, and then we found, there we go, Mayan with the feathered serpent headdress. So he just found the one, but he didn't see the other, and then he didn't see the other ones that were on the preceding hillsides, the Easter Island and Moai faces, sculptures, masks, and that there's potential geoglyphs and radials built into those. So here he's showing the Olmec stone head and the Olmec headdress or face on the back of the chief's headdress. And they all have the headdress, the plumes, but it's just the valleys of the giant faces and geoglyphs. So there's the Nazca, Peru, world famous geoglyphs. That, oh, what are they? They're only visible from above. Well, they're above ancient advanced mapping science that directs you to all the other ancient sites and land points around the world, landmarks around the world. And here, Arthur Ferrum, the famous Nazca star, he then maps out. You got the Hawaiian Islands, the Fiji Island, Portugal, Guinea, Portugal, Mexico City, region. Then there's the Nazca hummingbird, world famous geoglyph as well. And what are all these lines and angles? Well, those are specific radials that point to such spots as Hawaii and other important landmarks around the world, Faroe Islands, and throughout Micronesia, Polynesia, Malaysia, New Zealand, map Polynesia, including Easter Island. So all of those different faces that I was talking about and showing in the faces of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardian geoglyphs, well, that's also where all these other geoglyphs go to around the world. And here we have the Japanese keyhole-like geoglyph of Japan. And it plots out to, well, the exact same. Oh, this is the Yanaguni. Sorry, this is the Yanaguni map. Yeah, see right here, as defined by the Yanaguni pyramid. So, yeah, let's actually go to that right there because it's quite mind-blowing. For those that don't know and haven't seen this before, this should absolutely boggle your mind like kaboom. My mind was blown the first time I read and saw this because that quote unquote natural, no, definitely a megalithic and pyramidal structure 400 feet under the ocean on the southern Yanaguni Islands of Japan. And this is an image of part of it, in that each of these walls and angles are also radials of geoglyphs that, so here Arthur Ferrum, the view from above, then he plots out and maps each of these different angles in his geoglyphology methodology, and boom again, Attu Island, Alaska, Hawaiian Island, New Guinea, Sumbawa Island, coast of Java, Sumatra, northern tip of Sumatra Island, Taiwan, Burma, China coast, Fiji. Look at this. So this map, this is the geoglyphs map territory. Geoglyph map territory that is included or mapped out in these radial geoglyphs of the Yanaguni pyramid from above. Perfectly maps out in geoglyphology, the degree radials, and boom, you've got this map territory that is the exact identical same territory that the Empire of Japan held and was attacking and going for in World War II. So what are the odds of that? I don't see coincidence. I see intentionality, and that, well, there's ancient and modern forces and control and knowledge still at play and hidden in the kabuki theater that is the clown world of world events. All right, so I hear he's showing these ones. going to the different islands. This is right by Taiwan, I believe. Yes. And just every single island it maps out to perfectly. Just mind-blowing discoveries. That is Geoglyphology. And interesting. This is on a different server site, but there you go for Yonaguni. And for the Ferrum Foundation, as everyone should do, their own research. And there you have it. We are 1 hour in exactly pictures that I thought I was showing and going through the last several minutes. And it's just wild. Every single angle of every hillside that makes up these faces from top to bottom is covered with these ancient earthenwork terraces. And my apologies for not having the screen shared earlier while I was describing these, but now you can actually see what the heck I was talking about. Every single face of the hill that make up the hills are terraces, covered from top to bottom, parallel, ancient, symmetrical terraces, proving constructed, terraformed, intentionally built geoglyph megastructures of the ancients that you can only see from the sky above, thus flying or space. Okay, and it maps the world and it maps out to all the other places in the world. And the totem warrior faces that make up the Valley of the Giant Warrior Guardians. You can see looking down the hill with these parallel symmetrical terraces. There's the road, the access road going between the two. All right, there's the one I was showing, terraces on the opposite side of the valley. I zoomed in there, showing every single way, every single angle, making up every single hill. You have these parallel symmetrical terraces, ancient construction. There you go. There's the animal path. And here you have those symmetrical terraces everywhere. And now I can finally brag about, yes, these are all my originals, boots on the ground with mom, first to explore and document ancient constructed megastructures that make up the hillsides that are the giant faces seen from above. Every single hill angle, every single face of it, non-stop terraces, evidence of artificial construction, intentional design, intentional angle. Everything here is intentional to give you the builds that are the different Aztec, Mayan, and indigenous warriors. All right. That make up these guys. All right, so here we go. Good. Had to double check. I was actually still sharing, or was sharing again the picture and not going off on a tangent without cheating screen. So here we go. So this is the access road right here. That's the access road there that I showed that came up on. And then all of these different hills these faces, these hills faces, making up the faces, every single one covered in those parallel terraces. So here we go. Here's the road. So making up, I showed you these guys, these hill, this hill, these guys, all of those hills there. I just showed you constructed, showing the terraces, and then we're going to get the drone in. We're going to get this area, and I'm guaranteeing that I already know we will find parallel symmetrical terraces down on this side of the valley as well as over here, there, and we're going back. This end of the June or early July, we will be here. We will be going through this with quality drones, exploring. Shout out again to Michael Collins, Wandering Wolf. This is Mystery Rock, Saskatchewan, another geoglyph site that is made out of, this could be one being completely made out of megalithic stones and what looks like almost an animal or something, but also the same holes that I found and documented at Red Rock Coulee on the other side of Medicine Hat from here. Thank you, sister. Appreciate it. And yes, it really is. It's absolutely stunning that these are ancient, massive structures, geoglyphs of geoglyphology. That's a face. That's a face. That's a face. And I just showed you the pictures from on the ground that are these terraces that literally make up those giant faces. Every single one covered in terraces. Ancient, mega terraforming earthworks. Just wild. And we are going back. And we're going to try to have LiDAR drone. I'm not sure if Ron's brother is able to get it. Hopefully so. And here you go. Here's that access road. The Valley of the Giant Faces. Oh! It does, right? It literally is areas of Peru. And that is, Peru is where we literally know of the original geoglyphs. And Corral, Peru, another area with, just like Nazca, Peru, with the geoglyphs. Oh, okay. Fascinating. I'm gonna have to go back in detail with this later to look over it all. Sorry that we are just skimming over it all, as I am getting tired. We're getting a little bit off. Like, see, and he finds the different runes all over from decoding the different geoglyphs and mapping it out, and then finding other geoglyphs, and then mapping it out and finding other geoglyphs. And that's what makes the geoglyphology of Arthur Ferrum so amazing, because it's a science that literally verifies all the other ancient sites, like Nazca, like Yonaguni, like the Bosnian pyramids, and the Badland Guardian pyramids, and the Indonesian pyramids. And it's quite something. Quite. Here we have the Karnak stones, and that they also are giant geoglyphs. And here he maps them out, and so forth, and so forth. And it is just very, very advanced. Much love, William, and it's definitely worth checking out later when you have time and giving her a rewatch. And if you're interested in it, definitely do your own research and read up on the Arthur Pharam Foundation. And I will be reading up fully on Arthur Pharam's work as I look for his book. No, I had it upstairs. I was starting to read it, actually. Got to finish it, but yes, Geoglyphology is quite the ancient, advanced, hidden science and mapping. And all right, so an hour and 15 minutes now that we have been in. Let's see if I got a little clip, actually. Hold on. Oh, no, it won't be in that file. My apologies. I don't know. No video there. No. Okay. Hold on. We will be right back. Just taking a momentary water break.
I'm sweet. I got a beat. Just look at me. What do you see? Pineapple, I'm a pineapple, pineapple, I'm a pineapple, pineapple, I'm a pineapple, pineapple, I'm a pineapple, I'm sweet. I got a beat. Just look at me. What do you see? Pineapple, I'm a pineapple, pineapple, I'm a pineapple, pineapple, I'm a pineapple, pineapple, I'm a pineapple.
Polynesian, Micronesians, Hawaiians, Easter Islands, Aztecs, Mayans, Olmecs, Indigenous, all throughout. We've got faces upon faces, the Valley of the Faces. Another $10 to keep me going to full 2 hours. All right, you can buy me for another little bit. Oops, so here we go. Here I'm showing. So this was the access road that we drove down, and then these are the different hills that I took the pictures of, documenting the terraces. So here you can clearly see the eye, the head, the big nose, the mouth, the chin. That is a demon face, a demon mask, I think, or maybe even Egyptian. I don't know, something, but big pointy like eagle face-ish nose. And then here we got the hat that is on the Moai or the Easter Island. Some of the figures, then the big brow, then the big eye, the big nose, the big nose, the big eye, brow, big chin, carved down, same size. The opposite side, the mouth, the big nose, the big head, Birdman of Easter Island and of Hawaii and Moai and New Zealand. And this face, is it a lion face or is it a caved in face? But you can see the eyes, the head, the nose, the mouth, all through there. And this guy, so this is the feather of the feathered serpent Mayan face, just stupid Google Maps, dot right on it. And then the other big-headed, elongated face on the opposite side of that access road. And then further east is the other. Oh, this can just show ya. Here we go. The native warrior, the other Viking king, the Olmec, and the other face, and possible other face, and other face, and possible other guardian faces, all up in this segment of the valley. So face there, face there, face here, face here, face here, face here. Oh, bless your soul, John Sup. Thank you, brother. And John, we gotta do an episode together soon where we look at. I gotta get Google Earth Maps working on my. I gotta figure out whether I'm just being hacked, whether I just have shitty computer and shitty internet. I don't know, but gotta get Google Earth up for maps. No, Earth. Yeah, it's Google Earth. Go in and take a look at Florida and the Florida Keys and the different geoglyphs and canals that are throughout the panhandles of Florida, as there's a lot out there too, and there's a lot of known geoglyphs in those areas. And so here's that access road. Here's the elongated face. Is this like a nose, chin, mouth? Is that a face? Is that a face? They could all be just well eroded because this is pre-cataclysm. Like, there's just faces, totems everywhere. So, if it was all constructed, and like I show here, show here that it's literally parallel symmetric terraces from top to bottom of making up all of those faces of all of these hills of that valley that I just showed you. From top to bottom, every single hill covered in these parallel terraces that make up those massive ancient geoglyph faces. And just for scale, every single line is 3 feet. And there you go. There's BurnEye, 6-foot BurnEye, and I am between 2 terraces. I make up 2 terraces, like a meter each one, I guess. Is that correct? I don't know. Got to get in there and do actual measurements, because this is no coincidence. This is ancient construction and massive engineering and terraforming that made the Valley of the Giant, Guardian, Warrior, Geoglyph faces. Terraces. From top to bottom, making up what you saw there. Okay. Yes. Here we go. Close it out. Whether it's in the summer, spring, green, whether it's from satellite. Oops. Doesn't matter what time of year, what angle, you will always get the warrior faces that make up the Badlands Guardian. All right. Oh, so I missed that one, got this one. And that one, I love the Skeksis, that's funny. Alien coming out of head, long-nosed birdman. Yes. And the geoglyph radials. That is what we have to go back to document Arthur Fairham's geoglyphology work. And one last time, here is the Fairham Foundation with the Badland Guardian geoglyphs. And I don't have the voice to read this all out to you today, but I've done it before and I'll do it again. And if you want to read the full Fairham report yourselves, go to thefairhamfoundation.com, Medicine Hat Badland Guardians, and you too have access. It's open source. Learn it yourselves if y'all wish to do so. I'm running out of voice. Okay, so Aztec chieftain Olmec Olmec stone head. Mayan with feathered serpent headdress and elongated head guy. They all have the headdresses. And there we have the numbers with the actual geoglyph radial sites. And I believe the number 3 site is literally right on this guy's head. Geoglyph 2 site. Oh, the antler. There we go. Geoglyph 4. Sorry, Geoglyph 4. And now this looks like a crown, an eye, a nose, a mouth, another head, face, potentially there, right? The totem style of artwork. They map out. So geoglyphology, what are these? These radials. So literally these lines and angles of these earthenworks that are the geoglyphs that make up the larger image faces that are the geoglyph that catch the eye, and then you do the mapping calculations with the earthenwork radial geoglyph lines where you see the measurements and the angles he's found of them and plots them out. And literally from this spot here in the Badlands of southern Alberta, you got a map of tip of Greenland, tip of Cornwall, southern Canary Islands, junction of Ottawa River, St. Lawrence Seaway, Canada, entrance of River of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, I think, Ferrum Tower, Canada, southern end of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, Chaco Canyon, home of the Aninasi Indians, Shiprock Mountain, New Mexico, sacred to Aninasi Indians. So imagine that. One of these radials literally plots out to Shiprock Mountain. Cape Blanco, Oregon, I believe there. These geoglyphs, going to try to get evidence of them with the drone when we go back at the end of June. South end of Long Island Sound, New York. Boom. That's another spot mapped out in the faces of Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. I wish, but my computer will crash. But I can attempt it. I will attempt it if you donate another 20. And if my computer crashes, it's not my fault. But otherwise, we'll be ending in 10 minutes. And that right there is a map. So you have Hawaii, you have Cairo, Egypt, Luxor, Egypt, Tunisia, the Bosnian pyramids, the northern tip of Greenland, Mexico City, all of Cuba, all of these different, and Canary Islands, all mapped out. This crazy territory outlined by the Medicine Hat geoglyphs. Just wild. And here he shows that there's this other boundary very similar to the current Canada-U.S. boundary that also main geoglyph in relation to old North American boundary. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Fascinating stuff. Real science, real archaeology, real advanced lost mapping of geoglyphology, or hidden mapping of geoglyphology. And if you didn't see at the beginning,
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye.
Bernie just like that, speak, huh?